In this video, I'm going to show you 3 different Liverpool starting 11s. First, the team that I think Andoni Iraola will actually deploy. Not just against Newcastle on the opening day, but the team I think will become his first choice starting 11 throughout the season. Second, the starting 11 I would personally pick if I were Liverpool manager. And finally, the starting 11 that I believe is arguably Liverpool's most balanced and optimal team. Ironically, it's probably the one we'll never actually see because it requires leaving out some huge names. Let's get into it. Iraola's predicted starting 11. I think Iraola will set Liverpool up in a 4-2-3-1. That's obvious. Alisson starts in goal. Kerkers plays at left-back. Van Dijk partners Jeremie at centre-back. After Jacquet's performance against Como, I think he's done enough to establish himself alongside Virgil. At right-back, I think Iraola starts Jeremie Frimpong. That may surprise some supporters, but I actually think Iraola's style suits Frimpong, and far more than Slot's horrible tactics last season. Iraola wants fast, vertical, aggressive football, and with Van Dijk and Jacquet, who are defensively resolute and technical, Frimpong is given much more freedom to attack without constantly being exposed defensively. We already saw flashes of that against Como with his mazy run and brilliant assist, and I genuinely think we could see a completely different version of him this season. That said, I do think Iraola will start certain games at right-back whenever Liverpool need extra defensive solidity. Now onto midfield. The double pivot is Szoboszlai and Gravenberch. Szoboszlai is one of the first names on the team sheet because of everything he offers without the ball and the intensity he brings to Liverpool's press. Alongside him, I think Gravenberch keeps his place due to both his quality and the trust he's already built in that role. Ahead of them is Florian Wirtz. No explanation needed there. Now attack. This is where the debate really begins. Assuming Liverpool sign Barcola and Mbaye while allowing Cody Gakpo to leave, the wide options become Barcola, Mbaye, Rio, Munoz and Chiesa. We already know Iraola likes fluidity across the front line, with players constantly rotating positions. For the opening game, though, I think Barcola starts on the left. You don't spend over £100 million on a player to leave to not play him in his preferred position. On the right, I think Iraola sticks with Rio. He's clearly still learning the role, but pre-season suggests Iraola wants to develop him there, and I think that continues into the new campaign. Mbaye and Munoz will certainly push him throughout the season, but for now, I'd expect Rio to start in the mind of Iraola, as of right now. And leading the line, Alexander Isak. No doubts there. Now, the starting 11 that I'd pick if I were Liverpool manager. My back 5 actually stays exactly the same. I briefly considered Araujo at right back, but I think Iraola's system is almost tailor-made for Frimpong's strengths. His pace, pressing intensity and attacking quality fit exactly what Iraola wants from that position. The first change comes in midfield. Szoboszlai stays, but instead of Gravenberch, I'd just about start Trey Nyoni ahead of him. If we're judging purely on pre-season performances, Trey has been exceptional. He's composed under pressure, technically outstanding, intelligent with his positioning and decision-making, and far stronger physically than people give him credit for. Now, realistically, if the Premier League started tomorrow, I'd probably still slightly favour Gravenberch because of his experience and understanding of the demands of winning Premier League football. But based purely on performances, Nyoni has absolutely earned the right to start. Wirtz remains my number 10. Nothing changes there. On the wings, Barcola starts on the left, the right wing is much harder. Originally, I wanted Rio to develop into that role, and I've been harping on about that in previous videos over the past couple of months, but pre-season has shown he's still learning the finer details of playing there. The same applies to Munoz. Both naturally are left wingers and less scary on the right, so I'd actually start Mbaye. He's the only genuine natural right winger Liverpool would have, and I think his profile gives the front 3 far better balance. Mbaye would also, out of the 3 potential right wingers, be more adept at providing for Isak as of right now. Rio and Munoz would still play plenty of football across both wings throughout the season, but I'd opt with Mbaye, and of course, Alexander Isak starts up front. Now finally, we have Liverpool's most balanced starting 11 in my opinion. Now onto the starting 11 that I think is arguably Liverpool's most balanced and optimal team. Ironically, I also think it's the one we'll probably never actually see. This team switches to a 4-3-3, Alisson stays in goal, Kerkers at left-back, Van Dijk and Jacquet at centre-back, Araujo comes in at right-back to provide greater defensive security. The midfield becomes Trey Nyoni as the deepest midfielder, with Gravenberch and Szoboszlai ahead of him. That trio gives Liverpool significantly more balance both defensively and in possession. You could even argue that with this trio, it potentially means that we don't need to go out and get a 6 due to the collective defensive work rate of the 3. The front 3 is Barcola on the left, Mbaye on the right, and Alexander Isak through the middle. The obvious talking point is that Florian Wirtz doesn't start. That isn't because I don't rate him. I rate him a lot. I still believe that when he's on it, that he's arguably the best 10 in the world, and I think he'll become an outstanding player for Liverpool. But football isn't about fitting names into a starting 11. It's about building the strongest collective. If Wirtz develops into Liverpool's main creative force, as I fully expect him to, then he starts every week without question. But if he struggles to adapt like last season, I wouldn't have any issue leaving him out if it makes the overall team stronger. For me, the collective will always come before any individual player. That's why I think this final starting 11 is arguably Liverpool's most balanced team as of right now. Things can and likely will change once the season starts and develops. It offers more defensive protection, greater midfield control, and enough attacking quality to compete with anyone, while potentially reducing Liverpool's reliance on signing another defensive midfielder, even though I'd still like to see one arrive before the window closes. Now it's over to you. Which of these three starting 11s do you think is the strongest? The starting 11 Iraola will probably pick, the starting 11 I would pick, or the starting 11 that I think is the most balanced, even if we may never actually see it. Let me know your starting 11 in the comments.